Something terrifying has been added to Grounded, people. It's not just any creature, although there are quite a few of them, it's also a brand new boss fight. Welcome to the brand new super duper update. It's going to be going live for everyone very soon, but I thought I'd give you a quick first glance at the actual new Wasp Queen boss. So do leave a like if you find it useful. Go and check out my recap video of the dev stream where they showed a whole bunch of stuff, but not everything. And of course the update is live on PTB, so expect to see even more guides from me in the coming days. Everything Grounded, always, it's here. Let's go. So if you venture into the upper yard, you may come across some wasp nests like these, and you need to destroy 2 of them, and then it will trigger a event the next time that you sleep. They're dotted all around. You can find one at the back of the Java-matic in the ceiling. It needs to be done in with a tier 3 axe. You won't be able to obviously fight this boss. Unlike the other bosses, you don't need to have killed the mantis or the broodmother to take on this one though, which is a big help. Of course, subject to change, they may make it more, but yeah, you need to destroy 2 of these small wasp nests and then the event will trigger. So there are 2 kinds of wasps obviously guarding it. You've got just the normal wasps, and then you've got the wasp drones, and the wasp drones actually heal the other wasps and they look a little bit different as well. This is the location to the wasp boss fight and a brand new area to explore. And yeah, at the moment, once you sleep, you should get this little cinematic pop up after destroying 2 of the nests at least. This has got to be the toughest boss fight that is in Grounded right now. The mantis has always been tough, and is, I would say, probably one of the toughest ones. But for sure, I think this absolutely beats it. They don't like salty stuff, but they're also not immune to other things like sour or maybe even poison. But they do a hell of a lot of damage types. You also do reveal wasps when you open it up, so be careful, as it may make the rest of the yard even more dangerous now. It's pretty much just like plugging the haze, making the game harder. This will also do the same thing. Inside you'll find a huge collection of abandoned computers, tasties and a lot more, including wasp paper, a brand new resource. Lots of rust, lots of splinters in here as well. I'm going to do a full-blown guide for it, but I wanted to make sure that I do it proper legit rather than just going through in God mode like I'm doing now. There's plenty of wasps to kill in here. There's also lots of ticks, as well as a brand new location for a black widow. You might find some termites in there as well. There is a new scab in here as well. It is the condiment jockey, which is a kind of horrible orangey red yellow colour. And you'll also find a brand new charm, the shield solidifier. This was shown off a little while ago, so they've implemented it now in one of the leaks that I showed off ages ago. That basically it will stop your shield from being broken when it's equipped. And you can see it increases the block strength too. And there should be at least 2 milk molars in here, as well as a brand new auxiliary chip. Opposite where you find the Black Widow, you should come across this blue, I guess, hamster's ball, whatever it is, and there should be a chip just inside it. If you've got wide interaction on and you go in first person, you can jump up and pick it up just like that. The Burgle chip will unlock a brand new cookbook, as well as a new mutation, the Section Expert. It'll pretty much get you more drops of certain resources. So if you're killing a Black Ox beetle, you've got more chance of getting Black Ox horns when this is equipped. So definitely a must. The cookbook is the Wasp Roll and the Empana Dust. You'll need wasp scales as well as wasp dust and spider venom to make the Wasp Roll, which give you exhaustion recovery and poison resist. And the Empana Dust is the one that's going to give you dust guard and hyper stamina. And you need dust mite fuzz, as well as obviously the termite body parts and some spicy cha-chas. You also need to bring a tier 3 hammer with you, as you're going to have to bust open some of these mechanical tasty arms to get to some of the upper higher areas, where you will find a science pod station up here as well, but guarded by 3 wasps, including one of the healing ones, as well as a wasp nest. So yeah, they're weak to salty, that might be your best bet, but salty arrows otherwise using your crossbow, the most powerful one you've got and the best mutations for range class, or maybe a dagger with salt equipped, etc. Obviously they have got resistances too. They are resistant to stabbing, slashing and chopping as well. You can collect wasp legs from them, as well as wasp shells, and these are what you're going to be using to craft the new wasp armor that's in the game, as well as the bow. The bow though, you do need to kill the wasp queen to be able to craft, as you use the wings from it. But I'll show that obviously in a second. So up here is how you actually get to the hive. You can see the hive entrance. It's just there behind me. It's a big massive hive. And yeah, just like the other optional bosses like the broodmother and the mantis, you are going to need a recipe. But the recipe is extremely close, unlike the others. It can be easy to overlook it, as I did a bunch of times, but there's actually a skeleton right next to where you summon the Wasp, and this is how you get the recipe, as well as some other goodies. So this is the Health and Safety Officer with the Health and Safety Officer badge. It will heal you, but it also takes away your health, if that makes sense. These have always been positive and negative buffs with these particular badges. So every bit of damage you do is going to give you life, but it does take your life away over time. So as long as you're in combat, it's going to work out well, but as soon as you stop being in combat, you need to unequip it. So yeah, you're going to need tiger mosquito beaks, you're going to need mosquito blood sacs, and you'll also need the bee stinger plus 3 sour lumps. And yeah, it's pretty ferocious. It will have stages where it will call in reinforcements, but they're not too bad to kill. And it just shoots out a huge amount of horrible gunk. It's got life stealing as well as poison or venom attributes as well. Absolutely love the look of this arena. The lighting in this game has always been great, but oh my gosh, it brings it to another level. And obviously make sure you peek it. It is the highest tiered boss alongside some of the others. So yeah, expect a very tough fight. No differences, it is exactly the same as the other Wasps though in terms of weaknesses and strengths. It's resistant against explosive as well as spicy, but it's weak against salty. So anything with generic damage, which is usually the two-handed clubs, then that could be good maybe with salt, but they do move around pretty quickly, so the range class might be the best one. So this is only a first look. Like I said, I've got to do a proper legit guide. That's when I'll show you where all the milk motor locations are and the raw science in the rest of the area and some proper strategies for dealing with this guy. But yeah, it is pretty ferocious. It's got a sting in its tail. It fires off a huge amount of gunk, like I said. It does look like pollen shots and stuff like that. Might be really a good one to use in this. Like the Mantis, you think it's pretty easy because the first few hits of damage you do take off a huge chunk of its health. But then it suddenly becomes really super tanky. So you can see the negative effects it does here. Obviously healing received will reduce any healing from all resources as well as the poison damage. I think it's got one other status effect as well, which I think is either the acid. I don't think I showed it off properly in this little clip here. So eventually it does land, and that's when you're going to be able to hopefully get a lot of hits in if you've not been doing range. So be prepared to switch over to something else. Like I said, it does look like maybe sour could be good for taking it on as well. And fresh should be also good. It's only the spicy it's got a direct resistance to. So if you're a mage, you want to stun it to try and get it down, or especially in multiplayer, then your friends can go in and wade in once you've stunned it. That might be something good as well. I'll try and find out the correct stats for the stunning damage and pretty much how many you might need. And there you go, that is pretty much the brand new Wasp Queen boss fight. Like I said, I'm going to do legit guides, but just to show you first, you can see me finishing off there with my dagger, and it was done. It's got some pretty unique drops, or something you can make out of it. It's pretty unique, which you'll need the other boss parts for as well. So you can see they've got the Wasp Queen chunk, the Wasp Queen wings, as well as the Wasp Queen head. And you'll be able to craft something called Boss Sauce, which is obviously the Broodmother Fang, the Mantis head, and the Wasp Queen head, and it will give you extra damage after a critical hit. Seems like a massive waste to use that Wasp Queen head when you can use it maybe for other stuff, I guess. But yeah, if you're going to keep just going and killing lots of the bosses, at least now you've got something to use a lot of them boss heads with. And obviously, you don't need me to tell you to make it out of gum, so you get 4 minutes instead of 2 minutes. You also saw the Waspidote as well. That is the other one that you get through killing wasps, but also you need the wasp paper. You get this from obviously chopping down the wasp nest and then going ahead and chopping down the part that drops. So make sure you do that as well with a tier 3 axe once more. Or you might even find some loose parts laying around inside the brony box. And yeah, that Waspidote will cure and also give you resistance against poison. So pretty good stuff. Anyway, with the drops from the Wasp Queen, you can go ahead and make the Bard's Bow. You're going to need 2 of them, 2 lint rope and 2 of the Queen wings. You get that from killing it at least once. You see there, it's obviously a tier 3 bow. Shouldn't have to explain too much. The drawback, and it's really good though, for sure. So the armor that you can make from the Queen stuff as well as just regular Wasp is okay. Yeah, Wasp Queen head and 2 Wasp Queen chunks as well as 4 lint rope to make the Bard's Tudor hat. And it pretty much has got something called Waspidoid, which will basically stop wasps from attacking you as long as you're wearing it and you don't hurt them. And then its other perk is that it's meant to give some sort of extra damage or some sort of effect to enemies when you hit enemies or enemies are around you, but I couldn't really get this to trigger, and it's meant to be with charged shots. So if you do pull off a charged shot, it's meant to make the enemy react or take harm in some way or do something unusual. So a charge shot is just literally just pulling back and holding for barely maybe a couple of seconds before releasing. There's no animation, there's no indication you've got a charge shot. So at first, I've never really used them. I was trying to use a weapon. I thought maybe it was a typo or something, but no, it is to do with the bow. Just let the animation fall all the way back, and apparently that is it. That's a charge shot. So yeah, with the Bard's hat, it's meant to make the enemies around you do something weird. The other Wasp armor, the set, gives you a charge shot combo. So shooting an uncharged shot has a chance to make your next charge shot do more damage. And wearing all 3 pieces is going to give you the set bonus, which means you'll do more damage to flying enemies to make them stunned and fall out of the sky. So you can see I'm wearing all 3 pieces here. It looks really cool. I really like the look of it as well. So yeah, again, it needs a bit more practice, and I'll try and work on that charge shot combos to see how best to use it and give you any tips. But that's what it does at the moment. So there you go, a little complete guide as it is right now with the PTB to Wasps and all of the unlocks that you get through killing that, as well as the Wasp Queen. Things may change as always in PTB, so if they do, and like I said, I want to do a more complex guide, complete guide of the new area to go and explore, as well as do the boss fight legit. So look out for that very much soon. And I'm pretty tired, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to bed. Laters, ratbags.